Go. Okay, folks. Well, welcome to this Go for Diamond Call session this evening. This is what we call a new associate orientation. Now, that training is a model that we do recommend for you to follow. Now, you may want to use your own wording. You may want to use your video. You can share that video to people, to new associates as you see fit. But it's a good model to follow to give people a simple getting started process. You don't want to start sending books and emails and documentation and doctor symposium, and this is too much. You just want to give people the very simple steps on how to orient and get started. And the simpler things are, the more duplicatable your system, your business will become. By the way, I want to welcome all of you that are joining us here on Facebook Live. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. We love thumbs up. We love hearts and we love comments. Same thing here on our Zoom session. So thank you for joining us here live, and want to welcome everybody. So Tammy, I'm going to turn this over to you before I share my screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when we're new in the business, it's really, really important that we learn the basic fundamentals and not go into overwhelm mode. That's why we like to keep it simple. And then as you grow into the business and as you start putting more time, more hours into it, then you can advance yourself and learn a little bit more. So Chris, are you going to put the PowerPoint up right now?
Absolutely. I just didn't want to interrupt you. So it's coming right up.
Go ahead and get started.
Okay. Are you seeing the screen right now? New associate orientation?
Got it.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay. So what we want to share with you here as we begin, something that's I find is very important is often, when people sign up, here's the reality. And I know many of you that are experienced in this business, you do realize that, just 1 second. There we go. You do realize that when someone signs up into your business, they're not really in. They're enrolled. They made their payment. They got the products, but they're not really in yet. So there is a process that's important to go through, and a lot of it has to do with the mindset around the venture that we have, around the business opportunity. And one thing that I like to do is to talk to people about the difference between network marketing versus a job. And many of you here, a lot of you are seasoned, you know what I'm talking about. And there's a lot of benefits of being self-employed. For example, Tammy and I, let's use an example of us where we don't want to do winters anymore. This is by choice. What do I mean by that? Well, we don't really need to do anything other than just keep working. We're just in a different location, right? We're in a different, basically, coordinates on the planet. As long as we have the internet, we are in business. That's one of the huge benefits of network marketing. We get direct deposits in our bank account, which obviously now most companies do that. But again, the benefits with Max International is we get paid in US dollars, which is wonderful. Living in the United States, getting paid in US dollars. In Canada, we get a little bump of, well, I think this morning was 32% or whatever. It was 32 cents to 33 cents to the dollar. So again, there's a lot of benefits, and that is just to name a few. One thing also is that regardless on a poor economy or a good economy, network marketing tends to be bulletproof. Now, will you have to deal with motivation and people losing focus? Yes, absolutely. But that is the job. That is the job. But the fact is that this industry, regardless of the state of the economy, it could actually thrive. As a matter of fact, network marketing tends to thrive in difficult times. It's really interesting because people are looking for option, and that's kind of the least resistance. It's the easiest way to start earning an income. You just have to get out of your comfort zone in reference to talking about the reason why you got involved with the company, the reason why you appreciate these products, the reason why you believe in this particular model. So there's huge benefits when it comes to the economy. Profits are better than wages. I remember when I was working as a as an employee for Corel System. That was, I think, no, that was not my last job. I think I forgot. I mean, we're talking like how many years ago, Tammy? 20 some years ago. The bottom line here is that, when I was working in a job, my income was fixed with a small raise, and you are in the highest bracket in taxes also. So as a network, if let's say you got a job and you get a salary, by the way, guys, a side note is we're going to introduce you to our accountant. He is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. In fact, we just sponsored the head of the firm into Max International. You probably saw his name, Craig, an amazing, amazing gentleman. The bottom line here is there's so much benefits as an employee who is also doing network marketing, because now you can take money back that you paid taxes on into your pockets due to operating expenses, even though you haven't made money. I think you can work 7 years without making any money and be able to claim taxes. So when people say, I don't make money in network marketing, well, let's forget that a moment. Do you understand that you can benefit right away with tax benefits? I've been benefiting from the tax benefit of network marketing for decades, forever, as a matter of fact. So these are things that you kind of want to instill in someone's mind when it comes to the attitude of network marketing, because we need to clean the reputation of our beautiful industry, a beautiful model, because there's so much benefit to it. And there's 4 pillars that you have to keep in mind in building your business. One is the company, right? The company is not perfect. No company is perfect, but I can tell you that they're committed to you. They are committed to stay afloat. They are committed to make sure that whatever challenge they face, they're going to face it dead on and find solutions to deal with all the changes that's occurring. But the company is one your foundation. The other one is your products. Now, I have to admit, with Max International, that's probably the easiest thing, because our products are so specific. They're so credible. There's so much science to back it up. And then you mixed up with anecdotal stories that we've been hearing for the past 16 years, and it just keeps coming every time a new person, a new group, a new team, a new country. As you know, Mexico's coming through. You're going to have a whole new bunch of stories coming in, and this is just going to explode. So your products is another part of your pillar. And then you have the compensation plan. Folks, nobody likes to work for free, because at the end of the day, you got to put food on the table. You got to pay rent. You got to take care of your family. You got to take care of your future. I can tell you the way the government's going right now with pension. I know if you heard what's been going on in the United States with what's going on with their, and same thing in Canada. I don't trust my government to take care of my well-being. No way. I'm not going to put my life into their hands. So the compensation plan gives you an opportunity to earn an income on a part-time basis, which can turn into a full-time basis for many of us. So it's important that you understand the basics of the compensation plan. You don't have to be a math whiz. You just need to understand the basics and what are the steps that you need to do to earn an income. And we'll touch on it a little bit later. And of course, your story. That's the 4th pillar. So your story is what's going to gravitate someone to come towards you, to listen to what you have to offer. People are more interested in your story than the facts about your products. I'm telling you. Is the facts about your products important? Yes. Because it establishes credibility. No question. But it's not why they listen to you. They listen to you because you have something to say about your story around the product, around the opportunity. So these are your 4 pillars in getting started in your new associate orientation and being aware to have the right mindset as you build a business. Back to you, Tammy.
So we're going to talk about mastering the 3 simple steps in building this business. And number 1 is your why. Why you join Max. I know every single one of us are passionate. We have a passionate reason why we got started in this business. And I know the products has been, as Chris said, it's just the easiest one, because the products are real. The products have been building out incredible stories with people. And yeah, amazing, sometimes even miraculous, and you're afraid to even talk about it. But the products are phenomenal, and they're backed by science. And you've got 50 plus peer-reviewed articles. and more to come. So we can go out there in confidence to share this with every single people that we meet. And when you're passionate about why you're on the product, or you're passionate about why you got involved in this company, the culture of the team, whatever it is that you're passionate about, people that you talk to will sense, they will sense that. They will read your body language. They will want to know more. They will move more towards you when they feel that excitement, when they feel that passion. And I'm not talking about hype. I'm talking about coming from your heart. In some cases, some of these whys will put tears into your eyes. And I know some of you have these stories. So when we're new, we're building up that story. And then we're going to talk a little bit about goals, what you want to achieve with this. And of course, with all of this comes action. You know, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up? There's a lot to play in the actions, in scheduling yourself and doing the right activities to get the results that you're looking for, that we're going to talk about. But if you focus on why, goals, actions, and do this every single day, you will hit some really major targets in the next 3 months, 6 months, and a year from now, for sure.
I totally agree, Tammy. And let's start with number one, which is your purpose. Why are you doing this? What is your goal? What is your purpose in life? And I know, folks, sometimes it's, if you're like me, I find that it's like going through a root canal to sit back and do all of this. But it's really important. I'm telling you, it's really, really important, because things will get tough. Things will get in the way. It is just called life. And if you have specific reasoning behind why you're doing this, it changes everything. Let me give you a quick example. Tammy and I today, we drove in Orlando for, what do you call it, Tammy? A DEXA scan?
DEXA scan.
Yeah. DEXA scan. And it gave me my whole kind of blueprint of where my body is at right now, where my fat happens to be stored, and what's going on. And let me tell you, I was not all that motivated to avoid eating after 8 o'clock, because for me, I just love crunching, eating chips and, cookies and milk and watching, a show at the end of the day. But the fact is, it's one of the reasons that's been keeping me where I don't want to remain when it comes to my physical look. And when I saw the numbers and I saw the facts and I saw the clarity, and this is my message here, is your why, is you see the clarity as I want to look this way. And if I don't do that, well, this way will never happen. So when you have a clear purpose, by starting with your desired why, what you're looking for, what you want to achieve, it's amazing how powerful it becomes. So right now, I'm actually fasting from 8 o'clock on. I know that sounds not a big deal, but for me, it's a big deal, because I always have something in my mouth that I'm eating after 8 o'clock before I go to bed. I'm stopping this. And before that, I did not have the desire to do it. Now that I have clarity and I saw the number and I'm very clear on what are the consequences on not doing that, now I'm really motivated. And not only I don't want to eat at 8, is like I'm motivated not to want to eat after 8. You see, this is what determining your why and your purpose is so critical and important. So I spend a better time on that, because it's really important that you are very clear on what you desire. Because if you're not, the moment you get a distraction, you will get distracted and you will move track, you will get sidetracked, and unfortunately, you're not going to hit your target. And something that could be done in 2 years can take you 30 years to do, because you keep stopping, starting. And that's the reason why I'm spending some time on your purpose and your why. Spend the time in doing that. This is absolutely critical. And in help a new associate to establish their why, get them started. Really important. Back to you, Debbie.
So here's a little bit of what you can do to help you create that purpose statement. Is your purpose statement articulates why you do what you do. So what matters to you? What matters the most to you? And you know what's interesting, because when you're brand new, it might be a little bit of a surface purpose. If you can go deeper into it, it's great. But as you evolve, as you grow personally in our business, you start to change your purpose. It will always evolve. Your why and your purpose will evolve over time. And those of you who have been around for a while, you understand exactly what I'm talking about in building this business. So what matters the most to you right now? And what do you desire the most in your life, in your family, in your health goals, in your finances? What do you desire the most? And what impact do you want to make in the world? I know that one is huge for Chris and I. At the beginning, it wasn't, because we were just building our foundation from our local market. So we had experience already and we built globally, but we were starting locally, because when we started Max, we were just in US and Canada only. So, you have different goals as you evolve. And now, if you look at, some of you have read the book, but we wrote a book called Breaking the Cycle of Poverty Through Network Marketing. Now that is what gets me up in the morning. That's what gets me up to do that 7 a.m. accountability session with the team Monday to Friday, and to get up early in the morning to do some mentoring sessions, and to stay up late sometimes at night, is because we know exactly why we're doing this. And that comes from the core. And when that comes from the core, it becomes very emotional. And if you don't have that emotional state, you got to peel the onion. So for example, if your goal is to have time freedom, you're just so sick and tired of being sick and tired. Some of you might be there right now. So what does time freedom look like to you? And that's when you start to peel it. Well, I would like to be home with my children more, because I'm always away from my children. I'm always working away from my children. And then you peel it even more. And then you're going to hit some triggers, and it's going to get more and more deep and more emotional. And if you can peel 6 layers, that's when you really know why you're doing this. And you'll do whatever it takes. There's going to be lots of excuses sometimes that'll pop up. And you'll remember that onion you just peeled and why you're doing this. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
So now we're going to shift over to goals. And one of the things is, now we want to narrow down, because folks, listen, you have many goals, right? You have your life goals, you have your spiritual goals, you got your family goals, you got your relationship goals, you got your business goals. Now I want to focus on the Max aspect of things. And it's important when you orient a new associate who's getting started, maybe you could actually look at yourself as, even though you've been around for a while, consider, well, this is my day one. And this is what I'm going to focus on right now. What are your monthly goal for the month of February? Since we're halfway through the month of January. Okay, so now let's focus. What do I want to achieve for the month of February? How many associates do I want? How many customers am I going to be gathering, right? How many people am I going to help to reach the prime 1 level? How many new ranks will I help achieve? The fact here, folks, is this. If you write it down, you are most likely, or let me rephrase that, you are closer to achieve it than the person who doesn't write anything down. Even if it may seem like it's not going to happen, you are closer to your target if you write it down than if you don't. And that's why this is here. So take the time to figure out, okay, in February, how many new associates am I going to get into my business? Customers. I don't lead with customers. I default to customers. Some of you may want to lead with customers and then move on to the up. This is entirely up to you. There have been millionaires in both cases in this kind of business. I just happen to be business, and I default to my customers. And you know me, I really value a product. I know a lot about our technology. And I can talk till we're blue in the face about the technology and the science, but I don't lead with that because I want to build with builders. That's my goal. But what are your goals? And that's what's important, that you're clear on what your directions are. Right? Back to you, Tammy.
Yeah, I'm just go back to that for a second, Chris, because when we just sit down and we look at this, sometimes, especially when you're new, I don't know how many associates I want, customers, And you know, you might not know the total amounts that you're going to earn and everything, but put out wonderful intentions for yourself. And I like to, for people who know me really well, I put lots of intentions out there in the world. I always am grateful for all the wonderful things that are coming my way. I am so happy and grateful now that prosperity comes effortlessly and easily to me on an every single day basis. And if you write something out for yourself, that's going to create that mindset and attraction on how you want it to look for you to attract new customers in your life, new associates in your life, new people that could hit the prime ranks, people, yeah, and total all this stuff up and put out the income effortless and easy. Because the moment you start thinking of the negative aspect and hard, things will never go the way you want them to go, and it's not going to align with your purpose and your goals. So you want to put that energy out. And of course, there's always action. And action is not later, it's not tomorrow, and it's not next week. It's now. If you want to achieve things in your life, you need to make decisions. And sometimes you just got to suck it up. I know sometimes I'm tired. I know sometimes we're human beings. We don't feel like it. I'm sure you have those days too. But if you have targets and you have a schedule together and you just get focused on all the things that you're grateful for, and everything's coming easily and effortlessly to you on a daily basis, and then you just go do it and you start to feel good. You get this good energy that comes with it. So always put that energy to now, and don't focus on the things that happened a minute ago or the future. Because if you want to change anything in your life, the action is right now. It's those actions in the moment that are going to change everything that you desire to be, do, and have for tomorrow.
You know, on that note, and this is really important what you're touching on, Tammy. I was training a new associate today, and they're very, 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 very busy. And he says, you know what, at this moment, I can't really focus a lot of time on that right now. I'm really interested, but I have to take care of that. And the thing is, you want to sympathize, because this is life. These are the distractions of life. And the fact here is, I told him, well, here's the benefits. You can leverage from my time. I'm full-time. I'm doing this full-time. Now, you do have to eat. You do have to sleep. At one point, you're probably going to be talking to people. You're just going to be having conversation. It's just to have the habit of introducing topic that could be relevant to someone is that when me asking questions about what you have, what you do. And then from there, we can partner and I can team up to help you do things that you can't do right now. So I'm sharing this with you because I know this happens a lot. I bet you that many of you here that are listening, you can relate to this, where someone says, well, I want to, but I can't do it right now. I'm going to do it next month. I'm going to do it next week. The reality is they never start. They never do. And I'm telling you, there is an expiry date. After 3 weeks, especially after 90 days, if nothing happened, the motivation dissipates in thin air. So it's important that you encourage people to do it now and not later. And here's the action plan. Now, you saw that on the training that we did on the Success Cycle series. Well, in a new associate orientation, it's important to talk about it too, because this is the map. This is the plan. The max action plan is 5 steps. You get an ownership, why? And then you go back to the reasons to why. Product, value, and so forth. The next step that you want to achieve is become a senior associate. What does that mean? But you need to have sponsored one person on your right team, one person on your left team that are ordering their authorship 100 CV. This is not hard to understand. It's not hard to come. It's not hard math. Now you give them a sense of direction that they can start right now. They can understand this on the spot. They don't need to go read a library and a book to figure this out. And then the next step is to reach prime level 1. Now, I know we have different approaches based on different markets that we are working in. I prefer the prime 1 because it's the easiest approach and the easiest to duplicate, because they basically need to sponsor 5 people that are also on AutoShip. Okay, now the key is we don't want to limit them AutoShip. When I sponsor, I like them to start with a premier pack so they have enough product to be serious with this business. And if that's too big, then I will default to the smaller package. But that's how I start. So from there, the goal is to get to prime level 1. So when you're speaking to your new associate, that is your goal. Once you've achieved that, now you want to duplicate this process. And as they are being sponsored on your left team and your right team, then at that point, you're much closer to reach step 4, is to get our core rank. That rank is the most important rank in this company, not the crown diamonds. The crown diamond is a result of having produced a lot of bronze associates, which in turn, and the archaeology, how do you say that? You know, when everybody starts getting paid, right? Their income grows, your team's income grows. So you need to focus and have a specific target. If you build this business just on gathering customers and hoping that they convert, it's going to be hard to get some new pin ranks. But if you are very clear on the steps, if someone chooses to just gather customers, by all means, because I adore my customers, but I don't spend a lot of time there. Like I said, it's my default. So work with the person's desired and intention, but make sure they understand the steps so they can make decisions that are most appropriate for them. And number 5 is we want to duplicate the process. And in fact, the slide is the same. It just represents visually what you're doing. These are your 5, to become prime 1. And each of yours 5, what's happening here is that they get their 5. And as this occurs, what's happening here is that they're going to get qualified for prime level 1. We'll push you to prime level 2. And when this happens, then you start creating associates that are prime 1 qualified. Why does it say 600 CV here? Well, because they're ordering their 100 CV and they sponsored their 5. Total that up, that's 600. So every single person who qualified for prime level 1 generates 600 points. You want to become a diamond? If we go back, you want to qualify bronze? Well, just do the math. You need 2,000 on your left, 2,000 on your right. So you need to have help people in your business reaching the prime level 1, and you need to at least have 4 on either side. Okay. And doesn't have to all be brought in by you. They could be brought in by people you brought in, but the combined effort has to total up to 2,000 CV. And that's when you earn binary team. And that's when you can decide to spend a bit more time for them to analyze the whole process. But this is how it works. This is a business as a whole. I've just explained to you everything you need to do to become a crown diamond with this company. That's it. The key is the duplication process, which is a step number 5 that we had in the previous slide. Okay. And that's when you can go through Q&As. You can spend more time on that. But again, you give them a sense of direction, and don't just assume they're not interested because they just want to hear about the product.
Yeah, and some of you are going to run with this and you're going to get your 5 in your qualified month. Some have done it even sooner. I've seen people bring 5 people in a week, but it's your plan and your time. So everybody's different. We work on different schedules. So the first goal is get your AutoShip. Oh, so here we go. So write your why. That's one of your goals, and put that out there. And I recommend always share the information that you're asked to do when it comes to assignments with the person who sponsored you in the business, so that they can help you, the person that's working with you and mentoring you. And number 2, the next goal is to set your AutoShip for 100 points. And we always say at the beginning of the month. You can see here, it's by the 5th of the month. I personally teach people when I first get started to do it the 1st of the month. Just get the order in. You're going to consume your products. And if you order extra products, you want to move your products and talk to people and sell the product to people. And number 3 is to make a list of everybody you know. And you can divide that list up, international list, local list. People who are very health conscious, people who are entrepreneur driven. there's a training just on that, on building your list. We're going to have remaking this one very shortly. And number 4 is to invite people to watch videos. You've got the gocmax.com. Go look at this. Make sure that you know what you're sending people. So click on that link and go and watch the video so you know exactly what they're going to be looking at. So you, when you follow up, you know what questions to answer. Number 5 is to subscribe to the team website. So you have, you're connected to everything that's going on within the team. And again, your leader, your sponsor is going to be walking you through the process, making sure that everything is okay. So it's activeteamgroup.com. When you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see subscribe, and then you put in your name and your email. And you can also subscribe to the YouTube channel and get lots of great trainings that you can listen to on the way to work or when you're out and about or just relaxing at night. Number 6 is to connect to our boards app. And Chris created a link that is an easier process. So if you go to activeteamboards.com, you'll notice that there's a system there that just takes you right there to get you set up. All right. And then number 7 is to attend Monday night team training calls, which is tonight, the Go for Diamond session on a Zoom, as you're already seeing. And for those of you who are catching this that are not on the Zoom session tonight, make sure that you have the information to get on the trainings every Monday night. They are recorded, but it's always best to create a simple discipline to show up every Monday night for training. And then number 8 is to view the Success Cycle series, which is on activeteamtraining.com.
You carry on, Tammy.
You want me to go ahead? Okay.
Sure.
So number 9 is to acquire business tools. And of course, the biggest thing is products. Always have products on you. You just never know who you're going to run into. Okay, always have something on you. Cellgevity is the fastest moving product, as well as ATP. That the little packages are easier to promote. And those of you who are in North America, we make these little packages. You got 3 ATP, 3 Enfuse envelopes in an envelope with a 1-week bottle of Cellgevity, and we sell those. We've got make sure that you have a professional voicemail set up. So when you're doing calls, you also have 3-way calling set up on your phones. I think nowadays there's different systems set up for connection, WhatsApp, a lot of international markets, they use different things. So join team groups. We just moved over from a Facebook Messenger to Telegram. Make sure you're connected with the Telegram apps. We've got WhatsApp. We've got Facebook groups as well. And then you want to download Zoom to make sure that you have your own free account. You want to download the Boards app. There's a little bit of a spelling error there, Chris. Yeah, you want to download the Boards app. And then number 10 is go to www.mymaxpay.com, and you want to set up your account for commissions. The moment you get your first commission, your customer commission, or an associate sign-up commission, you'll get an email letting you know to set up your account. Okay, so you'll get that in, it's called MyMaxPay. So you can just go in after you trigger your commission, and then you can get yourself all set up. And number 11, understand the core business strategies, which is a prime bonus, which we just simply shared with you. And you'll go over this over and over and over again. It's really important to know that it might seem overwhelming if you're brand new, but take one step at a time. Do a checklist, check it off, check off the next thing. Send a quick message to your sponsor and say, oh, I'm on auto ship. I'm set up on my auto ship at the beginning of the month. Oh, I started my contact list. Let them know where you're going with all of this. So So they don't have to chase for you to build the business. All right. So create that simple discipline of doing those checks, things that you're accomplishing. And number 12, learn how to enroll a new associate and a customer. The moment you get started in your business, your sponsor or leader will set up a session with you and make sure you get walked through the process on the enrollment, get familiar with your virtual office. We also have recordings on stuff like this. So that again is also available.
Now, these calls are recorded, so you can pass this over to someone. See, I like to systemize my business. I like to automate my business. Some of you may want to get your new associate to watch that video to make sure that they're serious and wanted to build their business. And once they watch the video, then you go through maybe the process and making sure that they understand it. That shows their commitment. And you'll find that many people will not do that. I'm not saying to ignore them. What I'm saying is encourage them to watch the video. If not, then you can certainly do it yourself. But what I'm trying to do is to teach you to be for your people to become self-reliant. You know, Tammy and I spend a lot of money for courses. You know, they're not teaching us. We're listening to their videos. Once we've listened to the videos, then we interact with them because we're properly equipped to start asking questions that are relevant, that will actually make their time more productive and our time more productive. Yeah, another thing, if they register, if they register on activeteamgroup.com, what you're doing is you're automating the system. If you don't do that, you are skipping a step that will get the system do the work for you. Because when you receive their welcome letter, and make sure that they check their junk mail, because it does happen and it goes in there, but they go through the process and everything we just talked about is listed on the things to do on the email as they receive it. So again, you want to automate your system, automate your business so you can spend time with the people that deserve your time, and they have a basic foundation where, you know, when you speak with them, you will actually be productive. So the summary for success is, you know, talk to people every day and follow up in a timely manner. Tammy and I have been doing this rotation for years in reaching out to you guys from time to time. I know Tammy has now the accountability thing in the morning, which is phenomenal. I admire this. Admire those of you that are showing up on a regular basis for this accountability session that you guys are going to. Which is important, is not chit-chatting in those sessions, but actually do productive work that once you've done that half hour to whatever time you're staying in there and you're completed that, you're almost pretty much your day's done, in a matter of speaking, on initiating new business, right? So this is, again, so learn how and grow daily. This is very important, is you need to evolve. People think that when you sign up with network marketing, they just get on your knees and they pray and they hope that it's going to happen. They're going to sign up the big whale and their life is done for them. No, it doesn't work that way. Everything, every time you get someone new, it's important that you also evolve, because they're evolving. If you're not evolving and they're evolving, you're going to lose that connection. You need to keep evolving all the time, right? Speak to your mentors multiple times a week. You don't bother people. You just reach out to them, send them information, send them some questions. And often I will get someone to, knowing there's a video that does just that. I'm not going to spend an hour explaining this. I'm going to ask them to watch the video. And if once they watch the video, when we're talking, now we're productive. That's how I work. Right. And then share your results, you know, what's happening, people you brought into the business. I know with some of you, I reach from time to time on a weekly basis. And that way I'm able to see what you're up to and maybe help you stay accountable on what it is that you're committed to do. Read your team's messages in the group daily and save important information. There's good information to be passed on. Right. And keep tab of that and pass it on to your own groups, respective groups. Visit your virtual office from time to time. See what's going on. How many people were signed up last month? You know, I'm guilty of this, folks. For years, I never did that. Now, as of December, you probably noticed that even on the website, I check and it's, oh my God, there's 1,500 people that signed up this month. Last month was 1,200 people. That's interesting. That's really cool. We've had X amount of people that have reached a certain, now remember folks, we've been in this business for longer than you have. The point here is keep tab on the results and Are you also keeping track on all the work you're doing? Is your volume increasing, or it's not moving an inch? Month after month after month after month, you may have to change how you go about doing things if things don't change. Okay. And eventually, when you start measuring this and the volume starts increasing, you realize, oh, this is working. Let me do more of that. Maybe it's the fact that those accountability sessions in the morning, you started doing some things that are actually attracting some attention. Attend the virtual events and build relationship with other Max associate, which I know many of you have been doing, so you can learn from each other. Not to poach each other in different deals, but to learn from each other so you can evolve, you can increase, you can learn from each other, right? Do you have to ship? As Tammy stated, you notice that some things are repeated a few times. It's because people are a creature of habits. And when you hear it one time, it passes right through. You hear it a second time, you tend to notice it. You hear it a third time, it resonates, right? That's the third time we're talking about having your auto ship on the very first week of the month. Now, Tammy suggests the first of the month. I know I do the same thing. I love it. I can't stand when people are placing their order on the last day, on the last hour of the month. This is brutal. You're trying to plan your month and you don't know until the last hour, until the next day's over, and you're, oh, I made it. Right. So that's why when you train your team to do this well on the beginning of the month, it's done. And then you're working on your profits for the rest of the month. You've heard us talk to this a lot.
And strategy. Absolutely.
Yeah. And above all, don't quit. Remember, folks, if you quit, what else do you have to look forward to? Your same life as to what you're trying to walk away from and try to evolve from. So the fact here, folks, is that there's a lot to look forward to, and you have to look forward, and you always have to thrive for, evolving, learning. And when things get tough, let's face it. I mean, we faced some huge adversity, in the past 6 months with some of our products. And I know Max is not perfect, but nobody is. But where the company may lack, you need to fill the gap. This is one of the things, it even rhymes. It's even one of the things that Mr. Worry talks about to us all the time. The company will make errors. The company will make mistakes. The company is not perfect. Your job is to fill the gap, fill the holes when it happens. Instead of sitting back and complain, fill the holes and educate your team. Let your team know. And that's what Tammy tried to do as much as we possibly can. But you have to take responsibility for your own team. And that's the point here, is don't quit when things get tough. Just evolve. Which brings us to an important point.
Oh, my goodness. So obstacles are what you see when you take your eye off the goal. And that is absolutely correct. Every single time I have a target that I'm personally aiming for, the moment I have distractions, I don't accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. And I'm sure every single one of you go through that in your day, in certain things that you're doing. So what's critical is to set some focused time. That's what works for me really, really well, is I need to schedule to get results in my business. Because working from home, it is, as a woman especially, it is easy to get distracted and get this done and go do this and go do this. So I tend to do a lot of things on my day off on Sunday so that I'm out of that space so I can get focused. And on my schedule, I have my targets on everything that I need to accomplish, and setting an alarm. That really helps as well. You do not move. You get your goal finished or your target done. You do not move until that alarm goes off. And then you can go off and do that quick 15-minute break and come back and set those income producing activity goals. And if you do that, you're going to see that you're on target and you'll achieve the things that you want to. Otherwise, you're going to be all over the map, and you're going to find more and more and more challenges that'll happen. So I hope that helps in keeping you on that target.
Tammy, I really like this line. Obstacles are what you see when you take your eyes off your goal. This is so true. This is why, when we had these products that were back ordered, and, some folks were so focused on that, and it's all they focus on. I don't look at that. I know it's there. But I'm focused elsewhere. So for me, it doesn't, as much as I'm not pleased about this current situation, it did not bother me that much because my focus is on what Tammy and I are working on to evolve and grow. And I'm always thinking of the future. How can we evolve? And so I never lose sight of the direction and the focus on where we're going. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tammy and I, even though we're human beings, we see obstacles, but the obstacles are not an issue for us, where it's an issue for many people. So that's the message here, which brings to this point is persistence pays. It's amazing. You know, many of you may or may not be following, you know, some of the investments and crypto and everything else. And it's amazing if you are patient and persistent in doing your activities, eventually the sun rises again. Mm-hmm. And suddenly things starts skyrocketing. You know, I think 2023, it's that training. You know, when you hit the curve and you're at the bottom of the pit and it's starting to turn and facing upward, that's 2023. So it may feel like it's as bad as 2022 if you talk to the pessimists, but the reality, if you talk to an optimist, you're going to see that 2023 is a very, very important year. Very important, because that curve is turning around and it's pointing upward. Are we going to face challenges? I'm sure we will, but we're still going to be going on the climb. In 2024, we're going to see more. In 2025, I think we're going to see some massive growth. So the fact is, are you preparing for rain, or are you focused on the issues? So that's what the point is. Persistent pays. Stay the course. It is so important, because what we have is a solution to a very common problem, which is immune disorders. This is what we're dealing with, and we have a solution to that. That's the reason why I truly believe that, just like Steve Jobs was talking when Apple were going through a lot of the challenges in those days, today, Apple is one of the richest company. I believe it's the richest company in the world, because they have a product that matters, that people need and people want. This is exactly what Max International has. So stay the course.
Yeah, and they have a great team culture around it too. So yeah, that's critical as well, is when people are all on board with that common goal, that common mission of, you know, getting this company to a whole new level. We're going into Mexico. I don't know if this clicked for any of you. I know that when I first got involved in network marketing and they said, you know, we're going global, I'm thinking, I don't even know anybody outside of my own radius, right? But then I learned that if you build local, thinking global, you'll start to attract people around you in coffee shops and everywhere you go that are speaking the language of a market that we're opening. And it's all around. It's that law of attraction, right? When you put something out there, all of a sudden it's around you. So start thinking about that. We're opening Mexico. It's going to be a very, very massive market. And who do you know? Who do you know? And start writing things down, because it's going to be big. And then, of course, success with significance, but gratitude. We're always talking about gratitude every time, because a grateful heart is a magnet to miracles. It truly is. And if you're not open in the moment, then you'll miss so many opportunities. And I had to develop that in the moment mindset and gratitude mindset. Coming into our profession, especially, because when you're new and you're trying something, it's not easy. And all of you know, we've been there. You know, a lot of you that are on this session this evening, some of you are brand new, and welcome to the team. Some of you have been around for a couple of years. Some of you have been around for many years. And I'm telling you, put always good intention out there on what you want to attract into your life, with lots of love and purpose, and you'll be surprised what's going to come back to you, which the most important thing will be who you become in the process of the journey. Because I have to say that is the biggest thing over and above everything. But second is the impact. The impact that you're going to make in people's lives is it's going to put you in tears in some cases. And you don't know that unless you're out there doing it. And when you're out there doing it every day, you get to get that feeling every day of making that impact. So yeah, I just build this business from your heart, and good people are going to come in your presence, and be open when this happens. So many people have so much going on in their heads. They're not open, and it's standing right in front of them, right in front of you. So always be open and make those connections, because you just never know whose life you're going to impact today, tomorrow.
I totally agree, Tammy. And in closing, guys, one thing that I want to share with you is gratitude is such an important aspect of life. I cannot stress enough how important gratitude is. And you will find that when you share gratitude to people who have worked so hard to do certain things, they're willing to work even harder and maintain that commitment to deliver good product, to deliver good service, to deliver good mentoring, to deliver good help. And this is something I cannot stress enough. When you lacked gratitude, I'm not saying anybody here does that. I'm just want to talk about both sides of the coin here. When you lack gratitude, what happens? The people around you becomes bitter, and they're not willing to do as much to help or support. So there's such a powerful thing about sharing gratitude, and something is just a few words, but most of it is your body language and your behavior towards your company, towards your downline, towards your family, towards your loved ones, towards whatever matters to you. Share gratitude. And there is a law. You can find it in the Bible. You can find it in the law of attraction. You can find it into the energy, woo-woo, whatever. At the end of the day, gratitude is power in every books and every aspect of your life. Very, very important. Never lose sight of being grateful for what you have. And if you're grateful for what you have, more of it tend to come your way. And that, Tammy and I have lived that over and over and over. Cannot stress this enough. So that comes to an end on our session on the new associate orientation. And we hope that you enjoyed it. And next week, we're going to be talking about attitude. But I know that in between, don't be surprised, we're going to have some trainings in between. I know that Tammy and I want to do a session in reference to accounting. We want to introduce you to our accounting firm. They are brilliant. You wouldn't believe how simple my accounting is right now, based on how we work with these guys, and how much taxes they're going to save me based on how things are not manipulated. It's everything is legitimate. It's just that it's the way things are done and the way things are documented. And it's just amazing. The government won't give you that information. So we want to introduce you to these guys, and we'll let you know when this is happening. And I hope that you will attend, because this is the kind of thing that can really, really help you. It's not just about making money. And I've learned that. It's about able to hold on to that money. Okay. Now, this is for Canadians. I know in Ontario, and they happen to be on Ontario, in the United States, the Commonwealth is the same system we use in Ontario. So, there might be some benefits here for anybody who is in the United States also. So we'll come to an end on this.
Learning too, right? Even if it's
Yes.
something that you're not interested at all in taking him on, in becoming a client, you're going to learn a ton of stuff. We learned a lot before we even considered taking him on. We were pretty impressed So, yeah,
Yeah,
you'll
yeah,
learn a
it's amazing.
ton.
Yeah,
So if
absolutely.
those of you are on your, can open your videos, I'd love to take a screenshot.
Yeah, hold on, Tammy. I need to put that in
That's included.
gallery. Okay, let's do a screenshot. Did you take it, Tammy?
Not yet. All right, there we are.
Okay, beautiful.
Hey, MC, are you there? I know Charlotte's working. Okay.
Okay, let's end this call. So everybody, hey, listen, have yourself a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to present next week. And stay tuned
Thank you.
with the information. You're welcome. Have a good night, everybody. And thank you very much, Lucy. And thank you very much, guys. I know you guys have shared with us so many times gratitude. So I appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and have a great night. And bye for now.
Thank you.